Hello my cozy readers, welcome to another video. Today we are going to talk about the books that I read in April and we are going to pick my May TBR. So let's just get right into it. First off, let's get into the books I read in April. I have them all over here. We have two Kindle books, one in the DNF, which is Fainted Love by Elle Keaton. That was just not it. The writing was boring, it was confusing, the plot didn't make sense, and one of the main characters, I already forgot his name, just pissed me off to no end. So every time I got to his chapter, I was just like, I'm done reading, I don't want to read anymore. So that was definitely a no. Then we moved on to the book that started it all, King of Wrath by Anna Wang. It's still a 5 stars. It's the book that got me back into reading like 2-3 years ago. I just have nothing to say about this book. It is amazing. I love Vivian, I love Dante. Just their dynamic, their banter, just everything is absolutely wonderful. We kind of stayed in the Anna Wang vibe. We went to her very first book ever published, which is If You Ever Meet Again, of the If Love series, book 1. This is also a reread. I read this like maybe 2 years ago. But I just wanted to see if I disliked it as much as I did back then. I didn't. I actually thought it was better than before. I am curious to read book 2. It's about the same couple. They do break up in this one and then meet 5 years later in book 2. You already know that. You already know that they're going to break up. It's on the back. It tells you right away. The book literally starts with their breakup scene. So I'm not spoiling anything. But this was a 3-star read for me. King of Wrath was obviously a 5-star read. Then we went into a little bit of YA fantasy. We got Flower Heart by Catherine Bakewell. I picked this up because of the cover. It is absolutely gorgeous. But it did not deliver what I wanted it to deliver. It sounded really cool. Clara has, which is the FMC, and the book is told from her point of view, has magic. More people in the world have magic, not everybody. And those people can become like basically doctors. They help people, they make potions to cure people and such. But her magic is wild and doesn't listen to her. And because of that, she accidentally poisons her father with flowers in his heart. She has had billions of teachers and nobody could help her get her magic under control until her childhood best friend turned stranger, turned later into lover, Javier, helps her. He asks the terrible price to help her cure her father, and the story goes from there. It fell flat. There was no romance. Suddenly 200 pages in, we're telling each other we love each other, when there was no indication that they did. Obviously new, and obviously it's YA, but I've also read YA where there is plot, there is romance, there is tension, there's yearning, but this was not it. Lastly, we have, well, not the last one, I still have another book on my Kindle. The Owl in the Silver Sea by Tessia Suri. This is the Illumicrate Special Edition, which is absolutely gorgeous. I did unfortunately DNF this book. I fear I am just too dumb. Yeah, it is very high fantasy. Well, not very high fantasy. It's not like Brandon Sanderson high fantasy, but it is more. How do I say this? It uses quite high level English, and since English is not my first language, it's not my native language, it got confusing really fast if I didn't understand a lot of word. And when I'm reading a book, I do not want to look up every 2 words because I don't know what it means. I also tried immersive reading with audiobook. I thought maybe that would make it a bit clearer, but that did not help. I really wanted to like this book because it sounded so good. It's about the knight and the witch, which is a mythical story, and these two people live on an island, which is basically England, but they don't call it England, they just call it the Isle in the Silver Sea. And that isle is made up of stories. And every so many years, people on the island get reincarnated as the characters of that story. And they have to live out their story, otherwise a part of the island will disappear. So Fina and I don't remember her name, Simran, are the knight and the witch. And their story has to be played out. The knight and the witch are doomed to fall in love and then kill each other over and over and over again. But now there's someone on the island that is killing incarnates of stories. So the island is slowly falling apart, and while navigating their own tale, their own story, and trying not to fall in love with each other, and trying not obviously to finish their story because they do not want to die, they also have to look for a murderer who's killing incarnates and putting the whole island at risk. So it sounds absolutely amazing. I just don't think the writing style is for me. But if you are into fantasy and if you do understand like big English words, then definitely pick it up. I just think it's so good. Of what I understood and read, I was confused the whole time. But the premise is so amazing, so I'm so sad that I don't like it. And lastly, we have The Billionaire's Curse by Mackenzie Stowe. It's basically the 10th book in a series, which is made up of trilogies. They're all interconnected standalones. The Billionaire's Curse is the first book in a trilogy about former Navy SEALs, I believe, but the writing just fell flat. I gave it 2 stars, not even, I think. I believe I gave it 1 star. It fell flat, it was boring, it was confusing, there were too many characters that if you didn't read the rest of the book, you just didn't know who they were, even though you're supposed to be able to begin wherever. It was just confusing, it was boring, the spice was awkward, it made me cringe, it was not it. So it was not really a good month. We have 1 5-star, which is King of Wrath by Anna Wang. Then a 3-star, which is If You Ever Meet Again by Anna Wang. A 2-star, Flower Heart by Catherine Bakewell. Then a 1-star, The Billionaire's Courage by Mackenzie Stowe. And 2 DNFs, sadly. Fainted Love by, I don't even remember her name. I will put it up when I find it. And Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Shuri. But now that we have finished April, it is time to pick our May TBR. Now, I do have 2 books from my April TBR that I did not get to. One I already started, which is Unloved by Peter Corinne. I'm like 100 pages in, so this will get moved along to the May TBR together with this version of Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This one also has amazing art. It's the Fairy Loot edition of Final Offer. So these 2 will get moved into the May TBR. That is why we are only picking 3 books this time. And to pick my books, I have made all the books that I have on my physical TBR and my Kindle in tiny little mini books. And then I just grab a random one and we will see what they are. So let's get into it. Here it is. Maybe we should shake it a little bit before. We have My Paper Heart, which I know is a Kindle book, so I don't need to get up to get it. I have my Kindle right here. So let's go and look it up. There it is, My Paper Heart by Megan Vernon. Let me just read to you guys what it is about. One piece of paper can change everything. After my parents received the letter I filled out of college, they didn't ask questions. They just sent me to work for my great aunt in rural Louisiana. I'd spent the last year dealing with a cheating boyfriend and backstabbing sorority sisters, so I figured I could handle the swamp. and to the most infuriating and gorgeous guys I'd ever met, Blaine Crabtree. But as the bayou heat starts gathering, so do my feelings for the Southern charmer. If only things weren't so complicated. He plans to never leave this tiny town and has commitment issues. And my commitment? Well, that's supposed to be going back to college. But sometimes a piece of paper and one summer really can change everything, for better or worse. Okay, it sounds really interesting. It also sounds like it can break your heart. But that is book 1, My Paper Heart. That was book 1, My Paper Heart. So let's move on to book number 2. Let's see what it could be. Another Kindle book, Hooked on the Heart. They do make it easy for me. I can just look them up on my Kindle. So let's go look for it. Hooked on the Heart by Maddie Evans. There it is, Hooked on the Heart by Maddie Evans. Let's see what it is about. A mix-up has Natalie teaching her sarcastic neighbor how to cook, never knowing he owns a restaurant. Natalie's shown a parade of neighbors how to survive in this dump of an apartment building, but the newest guy doesn't even know how to boil water. He's got an awesome smile, but the takeout containers on his table tell her he's getting ripped off by the tourist-trap French restaurant. She is no master chef, she owns a yarn store, but at least she can teach him how to cook. Natalie comes binnen town less than 24 hours before his overbearing but cute upstairs neighbor insults the restaurant he just bought, then starts telling him how to feed himself. He plays along because obviously she knew he was being sarcastic, right? Except once he starts turning on the burners, it's hard to ignore the sparks. Chili, tacos, risotto, the relationship is delicious, but at any moment the lies could unravel and 2 hearts will get seared. Okay, that just sounds like a cute little miscommunication turns into actual love story. But I did say we would do 3 books. So let's pick the last one. Again. Ooh. I want to get one from underneath the barrel. Clumsy in Love. Let's see if we can actually read that one. There it is, Clumsy in Love by Jamie Harris, and it is Green Valley Books 1. So we can start this one. Let's see what it's about. The cover just looked really cute. She's sworn of man. He's too busy for love, but fate always gets the last laugh. Left at the altar and on a honeymoon for one, Park Ranger Holly Bennett goes to New York City and accidentally witnesses a murder. Picking up the pieces of her failed engagement will be embarrassing enough. Now she's supposed to do it with a grouchy city slicker glued to her hip, hard pass. Big city Cole Robinson is tasked with keeping Holly safe and must follow her to her small hometown to do it. If Green Valley Falls is a round hole, Cole is a square peg, and he finds himself quickly and thoroughly out of his element. Stuck together against their will, Holly and Cole are forced to navigate uncharted territory, both emotionally and physically. The rough and tumble wilderness pushes them together, but their seemingly insurmountable differences threaten to keep them apart. Neither are looking for love, but will it hunt them down and find them anyway? Okay, that just sounds like a very cute, cozy rom-com. So, that was book number 3 that we are going to read in the month of May. So we have 2 physicals and then 3 little Kindle books. Hooked on the Heart, My Paper Heart, and Clumsy in Love. I will be vlogging my reading journey this month, so you can look forward to a little reading vlog about my May TBR, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!